got quite a few coming up for you. From the Green Party, the candidate for Sunderland, may I introduce to you, let's have a big hand for Rachel Featherstone.
Hello. It's great to see so many people here today, because I get sick of being told that all of the people of the North East are desperate to see Brexit, any Brexit, go ahead. And by being here today, you show that that's a lie. We represent the tens of thousands of people across the North East who voted against this ongoing shambles. And despite the aggression and the insults from the right-wing press and the politicians, our defiance still burns brightly. So give yourselves a cheer. But 3 years ago, almost all of the areas of the North East voted to leave the EU. Since then, we've had quite a lot of national and international media attention. Papers from The Guardian, The New York Times, The Washington Post have tried to understand why a region that benefits so much from EU membership would commit this act of evident self-harm. We get over £1 billion in direct investment over the last 10 years. We have tens of thousands of jobs in imports and exports, and we get financial support for our infrastructure and our universities. But the answer isn't difficult to find. My whole family and many of my friends voted to leave the EU. Talk to them and you'll find out that they're not racists and they're not stupid. What they are is angry, and rightly so. They're angry about the state of our public services. They're angry that their jobs are low paid and insecure. And they're angry that the people who run this country, drawn largely from a narrow range of public schools, seem to be so out of touch with the lives of ordinary people. And successive governments have been happy to misdirect that anger towards the EU instead of taking responsibility for their own incompetence and neglect. So 3 years ago, when the Brexit elite told the people of the North East that they could vote for change, for real change, to take back control, and in the process they could give a deeply unpopular Prime Minister a good kicking, they headed for the polls to do exactly that, many for the first time in their lives. Brexit has been sold as a way to address the problems that they face, and that was a lie. It was a campaign of outrageous lies. Since then, it's become increasingly clear that Brexit will actually make things worse. That jobs will be lost, that the NHS is at risk, and that our food standards and environmental protections will be swept away as ministers scramble to make trade deals with the likes of that misogynist, sexist, climate change denying fool in the White House. And now, those same Brexit campaigners who claim to care so much about democracy intend to suspend it. That instead of restoring sovereignty to Parliament, they're going to suspend it so they can force through a Brexit deal that will benefit only disaster capitalists and, they think, their own careers. No one voted for this. No one voted to lose their jobs. No one voted to be poorer. And certainly, no one voted to put Boris Johnson and Dominic Cummings in charge. And so I have a few questions for you. Are we going to let them take our EU citizenship? No! Are we going to let them trash our employment rights? No! Are we going to let them sell off our public services? No! Are we going to unite to stop them? Yes! So we all want to kick Boris Johnson's right-wing cabal out of power. Have you ever seen such a shower of lying incompetence as our present cabinet? Even Tory MPs and voters are disgusted with them. But there's a real danger that the date of a general election would be manipulated to force through a disastrous Brexit. And with the people and the main parties so divided on the issue, it's not clear that that election would deliver a clear answer or a viable government. And so what we need to do is to secure a people's vote, to give people a genuine chance to take back control. And when we secure that people's vote, we must make a different case for Remain. Instead of focusing on trade and finance, good arguments though they are, we must speak proudly of the social and environmental protections that have been secured across member states. We must make it clear that our EU membership gives us the best chance to tackle the climate crisis. We must speak up for freedom of movement, which has brought us dearly loved friends, family and valued colleagues, as well as the economic benefits. And we must celebrate the friendship and the solidarity that we have built across what were once hostile borders. We must speak to people's hearts as well as to their minds. And we must make it clear that we will tackle the causes of Brexit. The decades of neglect that regions like the North East have endured, the lack of social mobility and opportunity, and the feelings of powerlessness that so many of our citizens experience. We must construct a constitution, an electoral system, and an economy that is fit for the 21st century. We must devolve power to our communities, introduce proportional representation so people feel they have a real say at election time, and spread wealth and opportunity through properly funded public services and the introduction of a universal basic income, just for a start. And most of all, we must secure a just transition to a sustainable economy. And that is what the EU is planning for and what it's providing funding for to regions just like ours. We must give those people who voted Leave feeling that they had nothing left to lose, a feeling that they have everything to gain from staying in the EU. We must make a Remain vote a vote for radical reform right here at home. We must give people hope, not fear. Thank you.